Welcome back. In our last lesson, we started learning about errors and error handling in JavaScript, and in this lesson, we're going to go ahead and continue focusing on that topic. So to get started, if you can go ahead and go into your project folder, if you can go ahead and go into the 29-errors2 folder, then in the start subfolder, if you can open up main.js, then in your browser, if you can go ahead and open up the index.html page, you should see errors part 2 on the page. So in our last lesson, we learned how we could handle errors in JavaScript by using the try, catch, and finally statement. And in this lesson, I want to focus on how we can create our own custom errors, and we can do this by using the throw statement. So the throw statement allows you to create a custom error, basically we use the keyword throw, and then followed by some type of error message. So in order to create a custom error, what we can do is we can throw an exception. And to do that, we use the throw keyword. And then in our exception, we can specify a string, a number, a boolean, or an object. So in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw a string. And I'm going to say custom error. And I'm going to go ahead and save our code and refresh. So right away, we'll see an error is thrown. And we'll notice that this error is different than the previous errors that we've seen before. And the reason for that is before, when our errors are thrown, an object is thrown. In our case, we threw a string, so that's why we're just seeing a string here instead of a full error object. So as I mentioned, we can throw a number. So if we save and refresh, you'll see we throw a number. We can throw a boolean, or we can throw an object. So for example, you can do test, and go ahead and do 1. If we save and refresh, you'll see that our object is thrown as well. So in addition to throwing these data types, we can also throw our own custom error object. And to do that, we can go ahead and do throw, and we can go ahead and do new error. And then in our error, we can go ahead and specify our error message. So I'm going to go ahead and do custom error. So now if we go ahead and save and refresh our page, so now you'll see we actually get an error object, and we actually get it's a custom error object. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just wrap our code in a try catch. So that way we'll be able to execute the rest of the code in our file. So I'm going to take our throw and place it inside the try. And then in here, I'm just going to do a console log of our error. So if we go ahead and save and refresh, now you'll see that our custom error is caught, and we're able to execute our finally code down here. So the last thing I want to cover is the error object itself. So by default, JavaScript has a built-in error object that will provide error information when the error occurs. So we've seen the JavaScript error object before, mainly when we did our reference error here and when we did our custom error here. And the error object has two useful and the error object itself has two very useful properties. The first is the name, so this will give you the name of the error, and the second is the message of the error. So just for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy our try-catch statement here. I'm going to come down here and place it down here. I'm going to get rid of our other console log statements. And I'm going to go ahead and below this error message, I'm just going to add 2 more console logs. And I'm going to go ahead and do error.name. And then I'm going to do error.message. So if we go ahead and save and refresh our web page, so you'll see right away we log the name of our error, and then we see the message of our error. We can also utilize these properties when we define our own custom error object. So for example, if we copy this line of code here and we place it below the help, and then for the name of our error, we should see error, and we should see our custom message that we passed. So I'm going to go ahead and revert this back to the help. So I'm going to go ahead and revert this back to help and comment out the throw new error, and we should see reference error again.